Hello, I'm Michele Wilcher, and I'm a homeschooling grandma and a homeschool transition coach. And today I'd like to talk to you about choosing college courses to complete your high school graduation requirements. As I've said in previous videos, it's often best to start with the end in mind. If you know where you're going to end up, it's a lot easier to plan how to get there. We all know that doesn't always happen as easily as we think, but the more information you can get, the better off and the better planning you will be able to do. So as you're looking at what might be your student's next step, you can begin to do some research to see what kinds of college courses that they might take in high school could possibly transfer into a four-year program or a specific type of program. Even if it's a two-year program, there may be some specific courses that they could take in high school that will transfer in. In order to find out more information, it's often wise to go onto that college's or that program's website and see if they have some kind of transfer credit calculator or planner or something like that on their website. Oftentimes colleges will put these up, and what it is basically a receptacle of information about all the courses that they have taken for transfer credit in the past and how they transferred in. So it's a receptacle of information. Now, just because you're taking a course that is not listed on that transfer calculator, or you're at a school that they've never taken coursework from before, doesn't mean that that coursework won't transfer into that school. It simply means they haven't taken it before. That might just require another question to the registrar or someone to make sure that that coursework will be fine as it transfers in. But these are very helpful in making plans on how to complete some of that coursework before high school graduation is over. Another question that's very important to consider is whether or not the program is accredited. Regional accreditation is the highest level of accreditation in the United States. All community colleges are regionally accredited. All public community colleges are regionally accredited. And so therefore, when you take courses at the community college, they are designed for transferring to a four-year institution. That's the basic idea. So if you decide that you want to take courses during high school, there are some unaccredited programs that offer dual enrollment type courses for high school students. There's nothing wrong with taking those courses as long as you know that you're not going to try and transfer them into some regionally accredited program that may not accept them. So a lot of times if you start taking coursework at an unaccredited institution, it's because you plan to continue on at that institution and graduate from that institution. So just keep that in mind as you're looking at some things. There are some dual enrollment programs that are sort of pre-planned for you. Usually these are associate's degree and high school graduation degree programs where you do your associates while you're in high school. They plan these very carefully because it is a lot of work, it's a lot of coursework, and it is very intense, and so it has to be planned carefully. And so these things are sort of planned out ahead of time. There's not a lot of guesswork there. You come out with an associate's degree. If that's what you want, that's great. It is very intense. I do not recommend that for everyone, but for some students it works just fine. If you're not doing a program like that, you're going to want to choose the courses to start with. I always recommend that students start with basics. I think English 101 and 102 or 111 and 112 are very good starting courses for students to take. The writing and reading and those kinds of skills that you learn in those courses will transfer well into every other college course that you take. Additionally, you're going to want to stick with courses that are in the 100s or 200s. On the college level, courses are numbered, and they're typically numbered to try and tell you what year typically you would take them. So the 100s would be the first year, 200s the second year, so on and so forth. We all know that doesn't always work out that way, and you may end up taking a 100 level course as you're getting ready to graduate. But that's the sort of the rule of thumb. As you start to get into the upper 200 level courses, you're going to be taking courses that may be included in a particular major on a four-year institution campus. So for instance, if you're taking math at the community college and you're really good in math and you decide you want to take some upper level math courses, that's great. But when you transfer to that four-year institution and you declare a math major, that math department, may or may not accept that particular course that you took on the upper level at the community college into their degree program. So you want to make sure that you have sort of run that through with whatever department or whatever department chair on that four-year institution, at that four-year institution. Another item to be aware of is religious studies courses often will not transfer, especially to like state schools or public institutions. So if you're, if you want to take it just because you want to take it, that's great. And there are some really great religious studies courses that you can take in high school. However, just be aware that you may or may not get credit for that when you transfer into a four-year program. Additionally, one final bit of advice. As you're looking at college courses, particularly the online courses that students can take, a lot of times those courses are reduced to an 8-week or sometimes even a 5-week period. So basically what's happening with your high school student here is they're doing an entire unit of high school credit in 8 weeks or 5 weeks. When they're doing something like that, you have to be very aware of the other high school requirements that you are putting on them. So if they're taking other courses like Algebra 2 or chemistry or something like that that's going all year long, you may have to stagger or block schedule, if you will, some of that work so that they don't get overloaded during that period of time when they're taking a more intense college course. If they're taking a course that's 16 weeks in length, they're still doing a high school unit in twice the time, one half the time that it would normally take them to do it. So just be aware of that as you're planning and keep that in mind, especially for students who may, be just starting into college coursework. I hope this has been helpful. If you'd like more information about how to take college courses and transfer them onto your high school transcript and use them as high school courses, I do have a listing of that in my downloadable e-brochure that's called How to Plan Your High School Transcript. It's on my website, www.homeschooltransitioncoach.com. If you've enjoyed this video, please follow me and subscribe on YouTube. Otherwise, just go to my website and browse around. There's lots of helpful information there as well. Thank you.